YouTube, you know. But other than that, let's get it. Let's get it. Basically just like, okay, so if y'all never known before, like I watched a lot of gacha games, so you got some gacha reactions, I guess. I mean, I want to see what's up with this because like it happened a month ago, but literally I keep seeing this thing get recommended to me, so I might as well watch it. How to destroy your entire successful game in one day, Infinite DK. Now I played Infinite DK for about like 10 days, and it was good. It was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, it was good from when I left off. Like the game first started, it didn't seem like it was bad or anything. So I don't know what the hell is going on with them, and whatever happened. Let's get into it.
Taught is the blue ocean strategy. The
Let's turn
seemingly
this like
endless
right
blue
there.
ocean represents a market that's never been taken advantage of. Its counterpart is the red ocean, a market that has way too many competitors and is a headache to penetrate. One of the
That's the Gotchaverse right now. That's the red market. The Gotchaverse is definitely the red market. It's so many of them coming out. It's hard for most of them to even come in. Let's be real.
best examples of the blue ocean strategy is what Tesla did with EVs. They seemingly created the market from thin air, and then other competitors came in to try and get a piece of that pie. So now, of course, the EV market is a red ocean market, no longer a blue ocean one. For a while, people assumed that gacha games were a red ocean market. I mean,
I still think they are.
The narrative was established. Gacha games targeted a very specific demographic.
What is it? This got to be Black
demographic
Desert.
wanted to spend an insane amount of money on very hot women. But recently, we've come to find out that not only was this incorrect, it actually couldn't have been further from the truth. Infold came in and made us truly understand that the gacha game industry wasn't really a red ocean market just yet. There was still potential to create a blue ocean market, and that's exactly what they did with their games. Instead of targeting the well-known male demographic that wanted to collect wives and spend way too much money on them, they targeted the female market, who really liked the idea of having hot male husbands and spending way too much money on them. But
You know, that is one market in the Gotchaverse that can make you a lot of money if you appeal to the female audience. Oh my gosh, they will spend. They will spend. It's just they won't spend on like things that obviously what we don't spend on. It makes sense, right?
The female demographic didn't just end there. Infold saw
I don't think most females are spending on Zenless on Zero.
very lucrative opportunities that other studios were not taking advantage of, and proceeded to release their newest title, Infinity Nikki, which was a gacha game, but at its core was a dress-up game. It was an open-world game with.
So let me see. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Try mic test. So let me see. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, it works. Okay, good.
The goal of dressing up your character in different outfits that you loved, and they were onto something. When the game released, it received immediate success, reaching 10 million downloads on all platforms, PC, mobile, and
even I downloaded it for 10 days.
Extremely impressive, even for a free-to-play game. It's ridiculous. It truly showed that there was a demographic in gacha games that was ignored for years, and Infold was finally able to give them what they wanted. So how the heck?
I wouldn't say it was ignored. It was more to like it was not as priority because they like, oh, if we could release a gooner woman that makes like 10 million a day versus a gooner guy that makes about 2 million a day, we're gonna release the gooner woman, okay? So I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for them to do that.
Hell, that they managed to go from a rating of 4.2 stars out of 5 on release when it came to the Google Play Store to now finding themselves at
1.8 is crazy, ain't it?
8, with their other games like Love in Deep Space also being affected by.
Okay, obviously, let's be real. Love and Deep Space is being affected by this. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because let's be honest. A lot of people love that game. Like when I say love, they love that game. But I mean, dang, for them to even downvote their most favorite game is crazy. I don't know what the heck they did.
By the Crossfire, sitting at 3.3 stars out of 5 on the Google Play Store, as opposed to 4.2 just a couple of months prior. And let's not forget the
We'll still never understand how that's a thing, to be honest with
fact that Infinity Nikki released on Steam and is now sitting at a mostly negative review. How could such a successful game that truly created a new segment in gacha, a genre that's existed for over a decade, fall from grace so quickly and so violently? Well, there are actually many reasons, and we're going to go over them together. So, yeah, hope you're ready. Let's do this. Do you know what's more rare than a double rainbow? Finding a gacha game that doesn't have a
You know, I love that they all
50-50
say this, by the
system.
way.
Just
It's
get the
crazy. It's
character
crazy.
you
Like,
want. Isn't that great?
nobody cares. Nobody cares about this game.
Five. So if you're
Honestly,
interested,
I care about the game, but it's
Alright,
whatever.
so Infold has actually been around for over a decade now. The first game they've ever released was in 2012.
Yeah, because like Infinite Nikkei is like it's a brand. It's not really just like one random game they have.
And it was called Nikki Up to You. It was the first entry in the series of Nikki, and it was also a dress-up game, although still not very well known at the time. Now, to be clear, the main developer for these games has always been Paper Games, a Chinese game developer. But in 2022, they launched Infold, their new international brand. 2024 was a very big year for Infold because they released 2 titles that truly revolutionized gacha. One of those games is, of course, Love in Deep Space. This game truly showed us, once and for all, that females are not only as horny as men when it comes to their gacha games, but they make men...
So true. So true. I don't know that game makes so much money a month, bro. It's crazy. It's insane. It's Genshin levels. That's what throws me. I'm like, what? What is that many? No way.
And look like rookies.
Now we know who's all buying Playz and the chibi characters. Because to be honest, I still believe that those are made for them.
In comparison. Listen, bro, I'm not making this up, okay? Once upon a time, I streamed this game, and let me tell you, dude, you literally get pounded. Like, literally. Like, I'm not even joking. There are cutscenes where you're getting pounded by these male characters, all right? Like, this is this is next level, and guess what? It made more money than we could have ever imagined. Ever since its release, it has been consistently in the top 3 biggest revenue generators in the entire gacha space. Look at this. It's making over $50 million a month, sometimes making $90 million, making games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, whatever else, look like amateurs. You understand? Things were clear as day. There was a market for these games, and they wanted more. Now look, when it comes to success in life, it's a combination of hard work and luck. In 2024, the Roblox game Dress to Impress was absolutely blowing up. And people, whether it be...
Oh, so they got the ride off a Dress to Impress? That's kind of crazy, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that.
Female were having a lot of fun dressing up their character in this goofy-ass game. All of a sudden, dress-up games became very mainstream. So of course, when Infinity Nikki launched in December 2024, the idea of a dress-up game went from niche to mainstream, and people were very excited about it, resulting in its massive success. Yes, even though their website got hacked with this wonderful, wholesome message telling people to evaporate their soul out of their body.
You just better try to get your prop. What, bro?
I mean, this was it. A cute, wholesome game in which you could just sit there and make up these awesome outfits in an open world setting. And hey, it's free. What else is there to ask for? And the gacha aspect of this game wasn't related to characters. It was related to outfits, or at least outfit pieces. And these were some of the outfits that you could earn through gacha pulls. The community absolutely fell in love with them. And speaking of community, they quickly took on the reputation of being wholesome and generous. Their positivity was seen as a beacon of hope in the midst of all the gacha drama that goes on 24/7 with people comparing their favorite game versus someone else's favorite game. At this point, it was hard to think that anything could go wrong. Infold was on a roll until they weren't. While the game did enjoy a lot of players, the revenue wasn't really reflecting its success. From December 2024 to January 2025, it made 50% of its revenue both in the Chinese markets and in the Western markets combined. This downwards trend would continue from January to February.
To be honest, you could also give that to like it being, I'm gonna be honest, like it's a dress game. They probably had some of the dresses that was like free or early to get, like it probably was a little too overbalanced. I mean, like underbalanced, so it was too overpowered. And boom, next thing you know, oh yeah, they ain't making that much because people would rather get this dress. It's a reason why power creep is a thing in the games, okay? It's to get you to spend more money. Let's be real.
And wouldn't really recover by March. It certainly wasn't making as much revenue as a game like Love in Deep Space, and red flags started popping up until a nuclear eruption took place. Steam is easily one of the best reasons to ever become a PC gamer. Valve has proven time and time again that they're the only people to be trusted running a platform like this.
I don't know why people say that. I think Epic Games platform is pretty okay. They give free discounts too. But like I think it's pretty okay in my opinion. I don't know why people hate on it for it.
There's a reason why it has so many people using it every single day. So of course, getting your game on this platform is a big deal because not everyone is willing to download your custom launcher. There are many PC gamers who prefer to have everything in their Steam library, and if it's not the case, it's a deal breaker. Seeing that revenue was on the downwards trend, Infinity Nikki was on the hunt for new players. So launching on Steam was an easy way to do that. Now look, usually paid games before releasing have pre-orders. That helps a company understand how much demand there is for the game, if the marketing's effective, and brings in some much needed.
I'm gonna be honest, no, it don't. It's just a way to get people to spend more money super quick, so that way they already locked in to play it. I mean, that's about it. Like, I don't think they really care about. Well, some may do, okay, but most of them, they don't. They don't care, bro. They just want more sign up. Well, at least pre-registration and gacha games probably that's how it is. But like when it comes to pre-orders, I mean, they just like, hey, look, buy the game early, okay? Like we're gonna give you the free stuff. Just buy it early, please. Yeah.
Cash before the game's release date. With gacha games though, seeing that they're free to play, they have something called pre-registration. If you make an account on their website, you pre-register. And if they meet pre-registration goals, as you can see here, you get rewards for each tier. Every single gacha game does this because it helps drive hype in anticipation of its release date. But there's no such thing as pre-registering on Steam. What there is though is the ability to wishlist a game you want to have. And you can do that for games that haven't released yet. So Infinity Nikki went ahead and set goals like they would in a pre-registration, but this time they'd be tied to the Steam wishlists. And as you can see, there was 4 different tiers here. The first one being 10,000 wishlists and it gives you a live wallpaper. The second one being 50,000 wishlists and it gives you concept art. The third goal is 100,000 wishlists and gives you a bunch of resonance crystals. Now, what are resonance crystals? Well, this is the gacha currency you need to wish, or gamble, and get new outfit pieces. There are 2 types of banners that you can wish on in the game. The first one being a limited banner. This only comes in for like 2 to 3 weeks and you need revelation crystals for it. The other banner is a permanent banner. It never leaves. And for this, you need resonance crystals. So 100,000 wishlist was showing resonance crystals. Awesome. But the fourth and final goal, being at 200,000 wishlists, was the final surprise, showing a shape of a gacha currency. People assumed that this one would be the revelation
Yeah, because you would think, right? Like they do that in regular like things, right?
crystal, what you need to pull on the limited banner, which is probably the most important currency in the game. This only made sense because 200,000 was double the last goal, and the last goal was going to give you resonite crystals anyway. So of course, seeing that this community is very wholesome and tight-knit, they went ahead and wishlisted the hell out of this game on Steam, even though many of them already had the launcher. They reached 100,000, and then they managed to reach 200,000. But then they noticed something weird. The official Infinity Nikki account,
They switched it and just gave them more regular crystals. Okay, that's scummy. That's scummy as hell.
completely changed the image. It went from this, with the fourth and final image potentially looking like a revelation crystal, to it just being a chest of resonite crystals like the third one. So in the first image, the 100,000 wishlist goal had 11 resonite crystals in the chest. And people were assuming they were either going to get more resonite crystals on the fourth wishlist goal or revelation crystals. The image completely changed that, and instead of having 11 resonite crystals in the third goal, they switched it to 2, which is exactly what they ended up getting. And then the final surprise, the 200,000 wishlist goal,
So they
contained a chest of
scammed
8
them. That's a
crystals. So
scam.
in total, they got
At the end of the day, that's a scam because you was promised something and you did it and you didn't get it. Now, obviously, it's not a 100% scam like with money, but it's a scam with like they basically scammed their audience. That's crazy.
10 resonite crystals, when in reality they should have gotten 11 just for the third goal. People were obviously outraged here, like, what? Why are you being so stingy over something so stupid? Like over 10 pulls, really? It's as if they were giving away real crystals. Like, what the hell was going on? The post celebrating 200,000 wishlists on Steam from Infinity Nikki with this changed image had 100 replies, and none of them were really happy. And after sufficient community backlash, they finally quote tweeted that tweet and said, you know what, guys? We're gonna give you 10 revelation crystals. Thank you so much for being such amazing fans. This led many people to believe that they were hoping that the community wouldn't notice, but when they did, they ended up giving them the rewards they were meant to have in the first place anyway. So look, this might seem like a small incident to you, but
They a lot of gacha games do this. So yeah, it is a thing. Like they be like, oh yeah, we give you this. They just give you like 2 for like anyway, and they be like, oh well, okay, we give you 10 more, but they was already promising to give you 10 more, but they took it away, and I was like, oh, we're getting 10 more. That's what they want you to do. But most people ain't dumb, and they're like, oh, so we just get it. Like you just giving us what we already like was going to get anyway. Like no extra compensation for like lying. Okay.
so far this game has been nothing but perfect.
Plus, you can see how they can easily give out. Like to be honest, most I don't understand why they stingy because like if you give out more stuff, more people want to support you. Like this stuff is free. The only thing that costs money is like making the character. That's it. Everything else in the game is free. Literally, like if they wanted to, they can give you 1 million like premium currency. Like it's really not that hard. Like it costs them nothing. The only thing is that they ain't gonna do that because they want you to spend to get the 1 million.
You have to understand that. This was the first instance in which they did something so weird, so scummy, and in which they played with their community's trust. But hey, listen, the community, as I said, is wholesome. They were willing to get past this and get back to the game they loved. Unfortunately, though, this was only the beginning for Infold's absolute roller coaster ride down to hell. So look, one thing you have to understand is that the release on Steam was going to coincide with a massive update, which was the 1.5 update. This had features the community was very excited about, like a co-op mode. Before this, you weren't really able to play with other players. Your world
They didn't have a co-op mode?
But in 1.5, you were going to be able to play with a friend, exploring the world together and showing off your outfits. Additionally, there was going to be a full-fledged dye system. Before this, each outfit had like 2 or 3 colors that you could pull using the gacha mechanic. But here you had a seemingly endless amount of colors with their different palettes, capable of drastically changing any outfit you own. I can't really overstate just how excited the community was about dyeing. In fact, Infinity Nikki had hyped the hell out of it by releasing an event in 1.4 called Caring for the Bulkhead, or Bulkwit, or whatever. You can make fun of me in the comments for my spelling. This event had you collect different plants, fruits, and shellfish in the open world so that you can combine them in order to create different dyes. You then tested all those different dyes on the Bulkhead. Players loved this event, trying to figure out all the different combinations, and collected a gazillion of these materials in anticipation for the 1.5 update so that they can dye their outfits. April 28th was going to be the game's release date on Steam, and 1.5 would follow. This was going to be a new chapter in this game's history that would change everything. And it did indeed change everything, except everything for the worst, and players were completely blindsided by this. You see, prior to the 1.5 update, when you would launch the game and play through the tutorial, it would show you the backstory. Nikki is preparing for her prom, so she goes to her attic, opens the closet, and finds one of her mother's old dresses. That dress
Yeah, and then like some stuff I was seeing again teleported. So yeah.
turns out to be breathtaking, and for whatever reason, it starts dancing with Nikki all of a sudden. After some short dance moves, the dress puts itself on Nikki and transports her to another world. In this world, she meets a goddess that looks really cool, by the way, who tells her that she used to know her mother a long time ago, and that now she has to save this world by collecting all the different miracle outfits. So even if you weren't a story player or someone who necessarily cares about lore, this intro still managed to somehow captivate you, to reel you into this new world that you just found yourself in. Not to mention, this isn't generic in any way. It's not the typical gacha story. It's original and beautiful and leaves you with just enough questions to keep going. However, when old players launched the game after the 1.5 update, they were met with this cutscene. It was also sudden, there was no prior warning, and they were like, what the hell's going on? They were met with this new strange character that they had never met before, talking to them about how they're a goddess or whatever, and then they found themselves doing another tutorial even though they've been playing the game for a long time. People were wondering, what the hell is this? Some kind of prank? What's going on here? Well, it turned out that the whole story changed, okay? It was retcon.
Wait. They changed the story midway? No way. No way.
That's the term. It was retconned, and everything you've known beforehand didn't matter anymore. There was no dress in the attic. Your mother, who cares about her? You having to save the world? We don't know why. You're just a goddess or whatever, and
why would they do that? Like, they couldn't write a story from the other one, so they decided to do that? That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, just go do you. Like, nothing made sense. Players were absolutely baffled. Why would you change such a perfect story? It didn't make any sense. Here are some comparisons, right? You start in the attic in the old one. In the new one, you just start somewhere unknown. You have no idea where you're at. Anna, that woman with the white hair that you meet in Chains in the first intro, who was your mother's friend, just appears randomly, like with no cool cutscene or whatever, in the second new intro. This is also without mentioning the fact that it just looked uglier, almost like it was rushed for whatever reason. Some people had the theory that Infold did this to make co-op mode make sense lore-wise, since the new tutorial had an emphasis on different worlds.
I'm gonna be honest, I mean, there's multiple ways to do that. Okay, first of all, they could have just implemented it in the game like a regular person. But other than that, let's say they didn't want to or whatever, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they could have just added it and just like don't talk about it or make it an off little small side thing like most games do. Like, oh yeah, you could do that, or they just don't talk about it at all.
But seriously, how stupid is that? No one needs lore or a justification as to why you can play with your friend. No one asked for this. There was no one who saw this new tutorial and thought, man, I'm really glad they did this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
like in Genshin, you could just do co-op. They don't say anything about it. They don't say, oh my gosh, you can travel from other travelers to other worlds. It's just, hey, look, by the way, like co-op is a thing. This is how you do it. Done. Okay. All right. Like you getting a story for this? Hell no.
they just broke it in the process of trying to fix something that didn't need fixing. This is without us going into detail about how they butchered some beloved side characters by retconning the story. One character that was beloved by the community, because of course most of them are female, is Giovanni, this dreamy looking fella right here. The story being retconned made his whole story not really make much sense anymore, which is wonderful news to many players who play the game. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get it. I get why Infinity Nikki players are so pissed. I'd be pissed too. But buddy, we're not even halfway through this mess yet, so hold your horses. Things are about to get way worse. Look, if you play gacha games, you know how the gacha system works. You pull on the banner of a character you want, using either the currency you earn in-game or one that you buy in the store. You can get really lucky initially and get what you want, or you can get really unlucky, but not too unlucky because there's a pity system that limits how unlucky you can get before giving you what you want. If you want to go the extra mile, or if you're rich, or just irresponsible with your money, you can usually pull
I'm dumb as irresponsible.
for the same character multiple times, and their copies would give them more abilities, making them OP as hell. Now, based on how lucky or unlucky you are, and if we're going to assume that you're only buying the currency, not earning it in-game, prices have always varied. But recently, because of pressure from the United States, Genshin was forced to show exactly how much a character would cost if you were to be lucky or the unluckiest possible. And as you can see here, it's $1.98 to $475.2. So if you bought all your currency from the store in Genshin Impact and got extremely unlucky, reaching heart pity at 90 wishes, you would have paid $475.2. Keep that in mind. Now, in Infinity Nikki, you're not pulling for a character, you're pulling for an outfit, but not just one outfit, not one piece, you're pulling for multiple pieces of that same outfit. Usually a 5-star limited outfit will have around 10 different pieces. So you're going to be wishing a lot, but thankfully the chances of getting a duplicate are very low. And before the dice system was even introduced, the way you could get different colors for the outfit was to 1. Get the whole outfit, 2. Get 180 wishes, or 3. Get 230 wishes, with each one granting you a different color. Now look, overall, a lot of players collected currency in-game in order to get these outfits, but if you were to do this with money only, with no currency collected in-game, this could amount to close to 600 USD, trying to get.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. How the heck is it more than Genshin? No way. Like I thought Genshin was the peak that we going to strive for. Oh my gosh.
All the pieces of an outfit, plus getting all colors, including the 230 wish one. Even compared to other gacha games, this was more expensive on average. So it comes as no surprise that when 1.5 dropped,
on actual average of a gacha game, you're probably spending maybe about around $300. You're going close to $400 if you get like the average luck in the gacha game. It's about $300 to $400. That's how much it costs you. But like 600 on like, that's crazy.
and the very hyped up limited outfit banners came out, people couldn't believe the fact that instead of having 10 pieces, these outfits had 11 pieces, which.
Hey, that's an extra 200 probably. Let's get it,
meant that
boys.
you had to pull an average of.
Okay, my thing is, do they do this in Deep Space 2, or is this just something they try with Infinite Nikki? Because to be honest, they could just do it like this, right? Like what some games do is like they cash they cash cow, they keep safe, and if they want to implement something into the cash cow, they implement it into the other games, see how people feel about it. If they feel bad about it, they don't implement it into the other one, keep the cash cow rolling. Or if they do feel good about it, they just move it over and then be like, oh yeah, we got this thing right here too. Like it just depends. It depends though. I don't think they did. I think they just wanted to test the waters to see how much can they get people to spend in a dress up game, so that way they can do it in other games as well.
20 more times in order to get that 11th piece, making the overall banner or outfit acquisition even more expensive than it used to be. This, just like the story getting retconned, came out of nowhere with no prior communication. And speaking of no prior communication, things would only get worse in that regard. You see, the endgame content for Infinity Nikki is called Mira Crown. Think of it like Infinity Nikki's version of Dress to Impress. You have to come up with different combinations of outfits throughout very specific challenges in order to progress. And once you did, you got currency that you could use to wish on banners. Prior to 1.5, these would reset every 2 weeks, allowing you to get an ample amount of currency twice every.
Don't tell me they either lowered the currency or lowered the time it resets, so you won't be able to get the max unless you like grind it every day.
every month from the endgame content. When 1.5 released, though, people found out that it would take 3 weeks for it to reset as opposed to 2 weeks, making it even harder to get currency without spending money, and you're over here dealing with the fact that there's an 11th piece on an outfit you want. Yeah, it's just been punched.
By the way, that's why most gacha games banners last about like 2 to 3 weeks. It's so you like you'll have enough to like probably get like you'll get close to it, but you're not all the way there to be able to guarantee a character. That's the reason why they want you to hit soft 50, so that way you feel like I'm only 10 away, I'm only 20 away, I'm only 30 away, but that's kind of pushing it. And I just like that. It's no more events coming out right now. The next events come out when the banner ends. What else is there to do? Spend money. Hello there. Like it's till dawn of time. Okay, it's old as hell. Okay, like if you play any gacha game, you understand. There's a reason why they move in. Like if you ever notice in any gacha game, like 90% of gacha games, like some actually do it right, but 90% of gacha games, the banner and the time the events are, it coincides in a way where you will play the event between the first banner, but then the second banner where the actual good character comes out. Most of the events are already ran and most of the events are already gone. You not making enough after that, and you either just gotta say, oh well, I'll wait for the next one, or you just spend like 20-30 bucks so then you can get the character. Maybe, probably that's something you want.
Punch after punch to the face, but we're far from being done. The dye system that was so incredibly long awaited was a massive disappointment. Those materials that people spent a very long time farming in preparation for this system were now deemed useless. You now needed a new kind of currency that costs money in order to unlock the colors. And just as you thought that this already...
So they paywalled the dye system. Oh my god. That's like because like they got this idea from Dress to Impress, right? Let's say, right, Dress to Impress really helped them out a lot. That's like Dress to Impress just locking 90% of the clothes behind the VIP and saying you got to buy this to get the rest of the clothes, and those are the good clothes that you want because you'll actually be able to win in the game. And they like, oh yeah, you got to pay us for that. You want the trash clothes, like the trash, like you want 5 pieces of like an outfit? Yeah, right there, take it.
Sucks. Well, it sucks even more because you have to unlock the color you want on each individual piece of clothing, which means you need to unlock it 11 times. 11 times! So unless you were willing to cough out hundreds of dollars...
I mean, my thing is, why did they get so money hungry? Like, it makes no sense. Because, like literally Love and D-Space is banging right now, right? Like, it's banging. It still was banging when Nikkei came out. So it's like, you're making enough money. You can have a game that doesn't make that much. Like, it's still, like, it's not like it's making $1,000 a month. It was still making millions. Like, it just wasn't making as many millions as that. It's like let me think. It's the same thing with like Hoyoverse, right? Genshin makes the main amount of money. Let's be honest. And what they do with ZZ, they let ZZ do whatever it do. It make this much here. Oh well, and make this much here. Good job, but oh well, we don't care. That like they let it do what it do most of the time. Honkai Star Wars used to be the same, but then they decided to put their hand in that pot too. So now that's doing that. But I admit it. Hoyoverse does this. Freaking. What's it? The ones that make Punishing Kuro games, they do it as well. Like they know that Punishing Great Raven was their big success, but then obviously Wuwa took that over. They make their main money from Wuwa. They still do Punishing. They just let Punishing do his thing, make his money. They don't care. They don't really care if it makes 1 million or 18 million. They just let it do its thing.
On currency packs, you could kiss that sweet dream of having a functioning dye system goodbye. This was especially hurtful to the players because much of these colors were named after the fruit materials that were present during the dyeing event. Player trust was being squandered at every second, and it was obvious much of these changes were last second. What was going on at Infold for this to happen? Well, a lot of incompetence, but also potentially illegal activities. Someone had made a lengthy post on the Infinity Nikki Reddit highlighting the illegal practices that Infold was committing in their game. For example, someone looked into the game files and found that the drop rates for different items in an outfit were not the same, with the most wanted aspects of an outfit like the hairstyle and the dress itself being lower than shoes, socks, and accessories. This is not in any way, shape, or form specified in-game, going against European gambling laws and also American FTC laws. At the same time,
yeah, it's the reason why against you gotta like. Because the thing is, okay, so that's true. Because the thing is, the law is you have to show the rates of the things that is in the game. That happened because I think actually Maple Story did it. I think Maple Story the one that made that law come into place. I can't remember, but because it was some game. But what they did was they had rates lower, but they didn't tell people that the rates was lower. They just lowered it to an unbelievable, ungodly. You're maybe 1 in a billion person would get, right, and they got in trouble for that. So now, and then the FCC made it so that, okay, look here, y'all got to say the rates of everything. If the rate is, what the hell? No, all right. If the rate is 5%, then you're going to be doing, it's going to better say 5%. But most people don't like. So that's why you can see the rates of characters in games because they literally was forced to because other games was doing dumb stuff. That's about it.
Time, the game had these ridiculous discounts on items that didn't make any sense. For example, one item you could buy in 1.5 was a bathtub. And as you can see here, there's a discount with the original price being 49 euros and it being sold for 10 euros. Dubious discounts like this are illegal by the FTC and European consumer laws. This wasn't just present in Europe. This was.
But I mean, it is, but I'm gonna be honest, that happens in a lot of gacha games still to this day. They be like, oh my gosh, 85 million% value. This was $21 million. Now it's $5.99. Buy it now. Like, to be honest, it'd be like $19.99. But now for you, $4.99. Buy now. And 1.8K% discount. Oh, I'm like, bro, I know for a fact y'all sell that for the same price every time. I don't want to hear it. DK, Goddess of Victory does it a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a snitch. I'm gonna be honest. I snitch right now. Nikkei does it. Genshin does it sometimes, not really that many times though. But Nikkei definitely does it. They do it a lot. They're like, oh my gosh, you completed chapter 800, like chapter 8. Oh, here. This package would actually be about $20, but since you completed this, we're gonna give it to you for $4.99.
Was present in all regions, and dubious discounts go against.
They know that they could just sell it for that much.
All consumer laws, period. People complained heavily about this and threatened legal action, so Infold gave in. They removed the discount, and miraculously, it seems that the final price is $14. Wow. But listen, all these things suck so much, but they've been mostly tied to game features and monetization, right? Well, yeah, that's because we haven't talked about one of the biggest issues with 1.5, and that's the fact that it made the game almost unplayable because of bugs, like this one right here. Like, what the hell? This was not present in the game before 1.5. What happened? Or how about this one right here? The floating bike. Like, come on, how does this happen? Someone commented, insane, another retcon. Nikki now literally a bodiless no-clip entity. I should mention though that not all bugs were funny. Some people genuinely couldn't log into the game, and if they did, it would immediately just crash. But
okay, the login things, I can't like that happens in a lot of games. Like a lot of games have that problem where, oh, it wouldn't log in. I want to log in, and like the logins be messed up sometimes. That's just code stuff at the end of the day. But like the other bugs, if it wasn't, well, it makes sense. Like, 'cause, if it wasn't there first, like bugs appear as you update games. That's just how it is. Like when you update 5 things, like 10 things can break. That's just a part of coding. But at the end of the day, it's like, to not have that fixed and out before like this, even though, especially when it's a big patch, like at least to minimize most of it is crazy.
There really were a lot of funny bugs.
Your goal is not to eradicate all bugs. Bugs will always be a thing. Your goal is to minimize as much as possible, so that way you don't have to deal with, game breaking ones that could end your whole like career of a gacha game, or like, for instance, accidentally giving 1 million currency instead of 1 when you do a mission. That would end a gacha game most definitely, because for a fact they shutting that down as soon as possible. But if a character fall through the map, they're like, oh yeah, we're fixing the next update.
Oh, Nikki's opening a door. Oh, the door teleported. There was even a bug in which the new character that shows up in the new intro doesn't even appear. And the person who posted it said, maybe the best bug in 1.5 version. Dude, people hated this new story. Actually, I think it was safe to say that people hated every single aspect of 1.5 and were hoping
I had that ZZ, by the way.
to go back to 1.4 at this point. It got so bad that they started threatening boycotts on the Infinity Nikki official subreddit as well as the official Infinity Nikki Discord. They just couldn't handle this anymore. To their surprise though, Infold revealed their true colors and started banning or muting anyone that would say the word boycott. So what did the community do? They started using the word girlcott. This movement started quickly spreading even outside of Infinity Nikki, reaching other games from Infold like Levin Deep Space.
It's the same thing that Genshin had. They people were mad about the anniversary. They tried to silence some people, and then the fallen Chi started, and that fallen Chi went everywhere. I don't know why companies don't understand it. Just let them talk. Just let them talk, because it'd be way better. You're just gonna Streisand affect it if you do anything. If you like try to stop them from talking, first of all, just fix the thing in the first place, and you'll be good. But let's say you don't want to, you want them to do it. Okay, whatever, right? But the thing about it is, soon as you try to stop them from talking, that's gonna bring more people in. And then that's going to bring more stuff to what's going on. And now you have new major news articles about your thing saying, hey, look, this game sucks or something. And now you just lost potential people that was going to try it or maybe spend money. And then now you lose all fans, because some fans that don't even look at the Discord or anything, they look at like, oh, they see the article about their favorite game. They're like, oh, what's this about? Oh, boom, done. GG, gone. They don't understand. That Fallen Chi was the best thing that ever happened. I ain't gonna lie.
It even got reported on by Vice and other publications because the community was doing everything they could to let the world know our game is going through the shitter. But if you thought that only Western players were participating in this girlcott, then you'd be mistaken.
Now you know when the Chinese people get mad, it's GG's.
Because this even reached the Chinese community, who went all the way to Steam forums to warn new players not to download the game, as you can see from all these posts over here. Bad, 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 everybody don't play. Do not get in, this game makes you unfortunate. This was now a global movement, and they were pissed. And it forced Infinity Nikki to make some sort of a statement, and they came out with this apology at the end of April, shortly after 1.5 had released, saying, apology letter regarding version 1.5 gaming experience. Dear stylists, hope this message finds you well. First and foremost, we would like to extend our sincerest apologies. We are truly sorry that we were unable to provide you with a stable experience upon the release of the new version. We understand that every stylist's love and trust in Infinity Nikki is something we must cherish and uphold with the utmost dedication. With the desire to offer Nikki and all of you a more vibrant and colorful journey, we had planned various new content for this update, designing outfits in diverse styles, creating fun and engaging gameplay, and crafting unique landscapes. We hoped Nikki could embark on thrilling adventures across parallel worlds, discovering endless surprises and joy in Mirrorland. However, this time, we fell short of expectations. Following the version update, we received a lot of feedback regarding game experience issues, primarily concerning the DIY workshop, co-op feature, and overall game performance.
This sounds like a basic apology letter that like every company does when they get in trouble. I'll be honest.
Including issues such as login failures, crashes, and resolution problems. We have been carefully collecting each report and immediately working with our teams to address these issues. We sincerely apologize for the issues that
I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I really feel like they just don't look at the reports, because like some things like will be reported massively and nothing just ever happens with it.
Disrupted Nikki's dazzling and dreamlike journey. Following an urgent review by the development team, we have already resolved nearly 100 issues, improved the stability of multiplayer servers, and carried out emergency fixes for certain visual display issues. Moving forward, we will continue to monitor the game's performance to ensure these problems do not reoccur. Below is a detailed update on the fixes. So here they give a list of around 13 different issues that they seemingly fixed. Then they go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, saying additional clarifications based on community feedback. Number 1. Number of pieces in the 5-star outfits, Snowy Ballad, and Crimson Feather. In version 1.5, the Bubble Season update introduced multiplayer gameplay to create a richer, more engaging adventure for Nikki and all stylists. This idea also shaped the design direction of the new outfits. From the early design stage, we intended the 5-star outfits to embody themes of collaboration and companionship, symbolized by the story of the ever-blazing bird sacrificing herself to save the iceborne mermaid. Thus, we introduced dedicated dynamic effects, transformation animations, and unique music compositions for these these outfits. In Snowy Ballad, we introduced highly dynamic special effects for the pieces and special aurora effects for the hair. The Crimson Feather outfit was designed around the core concept of rebirth, featuring a unique ash form appearance and different transformation effects depending on whether Nikki is in the air or on the ground. In addition, to align with the theme of the new version, we introduced multiplayer features in the design of both the decoration item and dance move. The Eternal Snowdew decoration now features a special co-op interaction, and for the Everlasting Hope dance move, we attempted to create a co-op dance mode based on the original dance move. Both the versions were developed with dedicated custom music compositions. To enrich styling combinations, the total number of pieces for these outfits was set at 11. We sincerely apologize for the lack of prior communication regarding this adjustment. Moving forward, we guarantee that the number.
Let's say that they really like wanted to enrich the thing, right? If they really wanted to, they could just kept it at 10, and then when you get all the pieces, you get the 11th piece for free. That, like, instead of making it that, oh, you gotta buy all 11, they could have made the 11th piece for free. It really wouldn't be that hard. Like, literally, it could just be like, what, bro?
Number of pieces in 5-star outfits will not exceed 11, and major changes will be communicated in advance through official channels. So look, the majority of this paragraph was just mumbo jumbo. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense to include this. I don't care about your vision for the outfit. People are just concerned about it going from 10 to 11 and costing more, and their logic was because it was meant to be in the spirit of cooperativeness or whatever the hell, or new features. But you have to keep in mind, in one of the outfits, there are 11 pieces, and you can't even see one of the pieces, which are the socks. It's hidden behind the dress. You literally cannot see it. So what's the point? In any case, this was them saying that 11 pieces are here to stay, but hey, we won't increase it unless we let you know in the future. This is kind of hard to believe since they already did it without notifying anyone to begin with. They then say, number 2, duration changes for the Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest. To offer a richer and more diverse styling experience, the Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest and the special effects are periodically refreshed and updated. As each version varies in duration, the duration of each Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest has also differed accordingly. We have taken note of the community's discussions regarding the contest duration. In response, we are planning to end the current contest at 4 a.m. on May 16th, with the next contest starting immediately at 4 a.m. on May 16th. Starting from the next cycle, the Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest will be held twice a month, starting on the 1st and 16th of each month. So hey, I guess they fixed this, but only because the community spoke up. Otherwise, they would have been completely fine keeping it 3 weeks at a time instead of 2, giving the community less currency to wish on their favorite outfits. They then
I'm gonna be honest, like, if this was like a feedback report, they wouldn't care. Like, they wouldn't care at all.
Continue. Number 3, DIY Workshop Design Intentions and Future Plans. The original intention behind the DIY Workshop was to provide stylists with greater freedom in outfit design and styling combinations. We have received all of your feedback and are carefully reviewing the current designs to further optimize the DIY Workshop experience. In addition, for fully evolved outfits, we plan to introduce a more advanced dyeing system in the future, offering expanded customization options and richer visual effects. If you have suggestions regarding the DIY Workshop, please feel free to email us at our support email. Every piece of feedback from you is a driving force for us. Your voices guide Infinity Nikki's path forward. In the future, we will conduct thorough reviews, strengthen our QA processes, and approach every update to prevent such issues from happening again. As an expression of our heartfelt apologies, we will be distributing the following compensation to all players via in-game mail, which are 10 Revelation Crystals, 10 Resonite Crystals, and 1,200 diamonds. So 10 wishes on the limited banner, 10 wishes on the permanent banner, and 1,200 diamonds for you to buy 10 wishes on whichever banner you want. They then end this by saying, finally, we would like to speak from the heart. Version 1.5 marks a major milestone for Infinity Nikki. In this version, we took a bold step forward, introducing co-op gameplay for the first time. We hope Nikki's journey can now stretch even further.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be so real. They get more than Genshin do. They give more than Genshin do when they apologize. That's kind of crazy.
Across the vast sea of stars, where every heart longing for warmth can find connection and companionship. Every member of our team shares the same deep love for the Nikki IP and treats every version update with the utmost care and commitment. We stand together with all our stylists. We may have yet to build a world that fully lives up to your expectations, but we have never stopped running forward because to us, Infinity Nikki has always been more than just a game. It is a dream built over 5 years from thousands of sketches and endless passion. Like many of you, we adjust the camera angles again and again to capture Nikki's perfect moments, and we cheer with joy at the beauty of each new outfit. These are not just empty words. We have always held tightly to the original dream and passion, which is to make Infinity Nikki a world worth staying in. That has always been and will always will be our reason for loving this world. Thank you once again for your support. We know that there is still much for us to improve, but because of your companionship, Nikki's journey can continue to push the boundaries of imagination. Please give us one more chance to let Nikki's starlight continue to shine for us all and to keep the warmth in our hearts forever burning bright. Sincerely, the Infinity.
So saying that this isn't over yet, I am scared to know what else they did.
Nikki Dev Team. So yeah, it was definitely a whole lot of yapping. And unfortunately, even though that last part was very heartwarming, and you kind of do feel bad for the devs because these decisions were probably not theirs to make, there are many things.
I think it was made from on top. Like, like the thing is, most devs don't have anything to do with what goes into the game, bro. Like the monetization, all that other stuff, they have no idea what that is. Like they don't care. They job is to make the game work, make the things for the game, and that's it. They don't know how much it's going to be priced. They don't know if it's going to be priced. They don't know if it's going to be free. Like maybe they told in advance a little bit that it's going to be free, so maybe like don't work on it too much or something like that. But like most of the time, it's like they don't control it all the time. They don't control any of that. That's for the managers and the people on top to do it. They get paid for it.
That were not addressed, like how the dice system was clearly supposed to be something you earn in game but became something you buy with money, or how they intentionally tried to deceive consumers with their dubious discounts. And let's not forget the biggest issue that people had, which was them changing the story for no reason. For many, this apology was lackluster, even if the compensation and apology that you received in the in-game mail was fairly generous. But hey, you know what's funny? Speaking of being generous, there were many players logging in to find that their crystal balance was in the negative, something usually reserved for people who buy crystals and then charge back with their credit card in order to try to pull a case of fraud. You see, there's this pass that you can buy for $5 that gives you currency every single day. Well, at some point, the game was bugged beyond recognition and it would count you logging in twice, something that the player had no control over. So they started taking those crystals away, not to mention this.
Wait. They took it away because of a bug, bro. I hate when games do this so much because it's like at the end of the day, right? If you're gonna be honest, it's not their fault. Like it's that's the their fault. Like you just like y'all just gotta lose out on money at that point. That's a will. Like, cause like this is the devs' fault that the thing is in the game. It's y'all fault that it took y'all that long to fix it. Okay, that's just how it is. At the end of the day, that's just how it is. It's nobody else's fault but y'all. But y'all decide. I hate when games do that. They were like, oh, we had this major bug where it gave you more crystals than supposed to be. So we're gonna harm you for using those crystals because y'all should have known to not use them. Y'all should have known we were gonna fix it and take the crystals back. Like what? No. How the hell we gonna know that? How are we supposed to know what y'all doing behind the scenes? Like, okay, it's a bug. Obviously, we know it's gonna be fixed at the end of the day. All right, but it's like you expect us to not do anything with the stuff that we got for free because of y'all mistake. Like, come on, bro. Like what?
This person right here posting this post saying, I'm going to cry, spending 20 euros on the game, and then for whatever reason, logging in the next day and seeing that the balance was in the negative, even though they didn't charge back or anything. Speaking of that monthly pass, in order to get the daily currency that you paid for, you have to log in, otherwise you miss out on them whenever you don't. Someone had spent $5 on the pass and wanted to log in order to get the daily currency, but they couldn't because the game was so damn bugged. They sent an email to support, and this is what they had to say. Sorry for the late reply. This inability to log in resulting in rewards not being claimed is not compensable. Please log in on another device as soon as possible the next time you experience the situation. Thank you for your patience. Bro, I don't know.
That's wild. Cause like I said, bro, these things don't cost them anything to give out. Like the only thing it may cost them is like a couple of bucks, right? Because like they made it or whatever. But technically they could get the pass out free if they wanted to, but they not going to because they want you to spend money. But at the end of the day, I just don't get it. I'm gonna be honest. At this point, I just don't understand. I don't know, man.
Who the hell's training this customer support team? But that is not how you approach the situation. This, of course, was disastrous. People were spending.
That's not saying it was a bot, by the way. Just want to let that be known. Like I don't think the actual person typed this. I think it was a bot.
Money on the game, couldn't log in because, well, it wasn't their fault. They were being penalized for these bugs, and support had this to say. Wow. But don't worry, because a higher up in the support team saw this disastrous response and decided to take things into their own hands.
Now, that's obviously your actual person. I'm pretty sure the first thing it's sent is just a generated bot. Like it probably reads, couldn't log in, and then it sends a response to what it was supposed to send for people that couldn't log in. Oh, okay, my bad. Apologies for whatever you're going through. You can't log in on another device because it sounds like it's too generic.
Another message to this person saying, Dear Stylist, we noticed that our previous response to your inquiry was incorrect and we apologize for the inconvenience caused to you. Please provide us with your
because it was a bot. Like, let's be real. He probably complained about it or went up and they was like, okay, Let's fix it.
ID, the symptoms of your inability to log in, and the number of days affected, we will further verify the situation and promptly communicate with you on the follow-up situation. Best regards, Infinity Nikki support team. Well, that's cool, right? That's way better than that last response. Way to go, right? Well,
They never got in contact, did they?
12 hours
Oh,
later,
they did? Okay, never mind. Hold on.
he gets another message, and it's, "Hi, stylist. We have detected that you have not responded for a long time, and this ticket will be automatically closed. If you have any further questions, please initiate a new inquiry. Thank you for your understanding."
I feel like that's a bot. I mean, I feel like that's a bot response.
Total unforgivable chaos in every way, shape, and form. And after that first apology, there was nothing else coming from them. Absolute radio silence. The community was still not happy, mind you, because the apology barely covered half of the grievances they had. But this all
I ain't gonna lie, that makes me so mad when games do that, where they sit there and they make an apology, and then they know something bad is going on in the game that people hate, and they just act like nothing happens. They just act like nothing is happening. Like when Genshin did that, oh my gosh, I wanted to delete the game. I deleted the game years later, but still, I wanted to delete the game so bad when they did that. Like I was like, bro, why? Like, what do you mean? Why are you posting this random stuff? You know that you supposed to have a response to do. Give the goddamn response. Why are you just sitting there trying to act like nothing happened? I know why they're doing it. They're just trying to sweep it under the rug. But like, still, bro, why?
on May 18th, a bit over 2 weeks since
The gamer, bro.
5 came out.
I ain't working for the devs.
Managed to get even worse. On May 18th, Infinity Nikki would put out yet another statement saying, "Dear stylist, this is the Infinity Nikki dev team. First and foremost, we sincerely thank you for your unwavering support and love for Infinity Nikki. Since the launch of version 1.5, insufficient preparation during pre-release testing led to unexpected live issues, resulting in an unstable game environment and unsatisfactory content. We fully acknowledge that this is our responsibility, and addressing these shortcomings remains a top priority for our team moving forward. Additionally, we encountered technical challenges during development that require more time to resolve thoroughly. Following rigorous assessment, we decided to extend version 1.5's end date to ensure greater stability and prevent similar issues from reoccurring. We're acutely aware that these recent issues have impacted your experience and damaged the trust and affection."
See, like my thing is, cause like when they do stuff like this, it hurts, right? But I never understand why, like, especially gacha games, it's free. Like, just be like, hey, this update y'all was waiting for, we're gonna hold off on it a little bit. We're gonna push it back some. Like, yeah, people won't be mad, but at the end of the day, it's like whatever. Like, just push it back some, so that way you don't get slammed on any social media platform that your game is garbage and can't run for anything. Like, why not just do that? Like, I'd rather do that instead of just releasing it and being like, we're fixing it later on as the time go by. Like, what, bro?
You've placed in us. To all stylists, we offer our deepest apologies. So then they go ahead and outline that version 1.5 is going to end on June 12th, a delay of a few weeks.
Thanks for the
And then
follow,
they proceed to
Maddie.
say, "Weekly tasks.
How you
started
doing today? You
pursuit
doing good?"
delay Notice. After version 1.5 launched, we received extensive feedback on co-op features and gameplay. Based on this, we are optimizing related systems, and the new weekly tasks, Starlit Pursuit, originally scheduled for May 20th, will now debut in version 1.6. This is an event with co-op being the main focus, right? They then continue saying, "This delay allows us to refine task mechanics for a smoother experience. Additional details will be announced at a later date."
See, I accept that. Like, people won't be mad, obviously, because like you're holding it back from us getting like a new feature or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have that happen than they'll launch co-op and next thing you know, oh my gosh, your account suddenly gets deleted because you play co-op for whatever reason. Like, bro, what?
Please stay tuned. In light of this change, 360 Starlit Crystals will be given to all players as compensation. That's 3 wishes, okay? They continue, "We extend our heartfelt gratitude to every stylist for your understanding and continued support. Throughout the development journey since launch, we've faced a multitude of challenges and uncertainties, from optimizing performance across diverse devices with varying capabilities to tackling unexpected technical roadblocks, and many of these hurdles were unprecedented for our team. Rather than offering premature communication, we chose to tackle these problems methodically, responding to your expectations only once we had secured concrete solutions. But rest assured, we've heard your feedback loud and clear. The Threads of Reunion storyline's absence in this version was never intended as a removal from Infinity Nikki's narrative. Its associated outfit remains on our development roadmap. Due to technical hurdles in version 1.5, we were unable to properly refine the introduction of the Sea of Stars chapter and the narrative setup for Threads of Reunion, which regrettably led to confusion. These elements are planned for future updates. Plans are underway to expand tiered cumulative top-up rewards in upcoming versions. New gameplay systems will undergo undergo rigorous design scrutiny to ensure seamless integration into the open world experience and more consistency. On top of that, adaptation, performance, and stability issues across various platforms, including PlayStation, have been identified and are being resolved systematically. There are also unlisted adjustments under discussion. Some changes require extended development cycles, but we commit to implementing them through phased updates. We will share progress once plans solidify and milestones are reached. In the meantime, we humbly ask for your continued patience and trust. So finally, around halfway through this paragraph, we got some sort of a confirmation that they're aware that people hate this new intro. But they only were talking about the associated outfit to that original story. And they said, don't worry guys, it's still coming. No mention of the entire story changing and them maybe going back to the...
They're not going to go back. They probably already have like a roadmap for the new story. They probably already started the animations for the new story. They if they did it, they would have to just like recant all of that, start all over again, like they did the first time. It's going to take months, and it means you ain't getting the story for months. Like they wasn't going to do that. That's more money they had to spend out. They're not doing that.
The old one. They then said, oh yeah, due to technical hurdles, we had to kind of rush this intro. Well, how is that my problem? How about you just don't release it because the old one was perfect in its own way?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could just stop, think about it, wait a minute.
They didn't need to even do this, especially not to introduce co-op. Who cares? And then my favorite part is that how as soon as they're done talking about what pisses people off the most, this change in story, they say, plans are underway to expand tiered cumulative top-up rewards in upcoming versions. Dude, who asked? Like, who asked? It's like, hey guys, we know you hate the fact that we changed the story. Anyway, if you spend money, you'll be getting more rewards. It's like, I don't care, bitch. How tone deaf is that? They then continue and say, we fully recognize that our current communication efforts may not meet every stylist's expectations. To address this, we are launching a new initiative, the Miraland Roundtable, to openly address player concerns and collaboratively explore solutions. We sincerely invite all stylists to share their feedback and suggestions through the following dedicated channels. Your candid feedback, both critical and encouraging, has prompted deeper reflection. Drafting this message stirs mixed emotions, guilt over delayed promises, yet gratitude for your unwavering support. As compensation for version 1.5 shortcomings and schedule changes, all stylists will receive diamonds, as well as energy crystals every day from June 5th to June 12th, totaling 960 diamonds and 8 energy crystals. Thank you for standing with us. Together we'll make Infinity Nikki shine brighter than ever. So, yeah, another non-apology. Pretty much not reassuring players in any way, shape, or form. This whole Miraland Roundtable is too little too late. You've already implemented changes that are ridiculous in scope and size without even notifying the community. How are they supposed to trust you with this roundtable now? There are 444 replies to this tweet, and let me tell you, most of them are furious. Because as this comment right here points out, 220 pity not being lowered, barely addressing Retcon's story, no addressing the horrible dying system, no addressing the Mira crown changes, but hey, we got 8 pulls. That was the sentiment in the majority of the community, both global and Chinese. So it didn't really take long, but people who were very big fans of the game painfully chose to uninstall after seeing just how tone deaf the dev team was. And this once wholesome community, this once very positive and contagiously nice community, was just riddled with people who had lost all hope, who were depressed at the fact that this game was never going to be the game they loved just one update ago. It was very sad to see because, as I said in the beginning, in the gacha community, this was seen as the beacon of hope. The one game that was immune to the very stupid gacha drama that plagues other games
Even in gacha, the hope is a 50-50.
every single day online. And some people were getting tired of people telling them that they uninstalled because the posts were getting that much common on the Infinity Nikki unofficial Reddit as well as other places online. But why did this happen? Why did this developer shoot themselves in the foot with a goddamn shotgun when their community loved their game? Well, there are a few theories. Let's talk about them. As I pointed out before, the revenue for this game has just been going down every single month fairly consistently. Before the game released, the CEO of the studio revealed that Infinity Nikki was being developed by over 1,000 people. Okay, this was a very...
See, I'm gonna be honest. That's what they messed up at. They needed money to fund the amount of people that they hire. That's where they messed up at. Because let's be real, you don't need 1,000 people to be working on a game like that, okay? Maybe 100, 200 at max. But like 1,000 is crazy. See, that's what it was. Like that's why they became greedy, because they was like, oh, well, we got 1,000 people working on this. We can't really make this amount of money back. So what the hell we gonna do, guys? Bro, just don't just don't overhire. Like at that point, they would have to fire a lot of people because you just had to overhire for a game that's not that it's not that complex. It's not like you're making a triple A, quadruple, the quintuplet A game. Okay, you don't need 1,000 people on the staff. What the hell are they doing anyway? And one person draw one line and the other person draw the other. Like what, bro? Come on.
Team. Of course, this includes outsources. Not everyone actually works at Infold, but you get the point.
Good.
This cost a lot of money.
But still, why?
So look, like this post on Reddit explains it, there are many theories here, but if you worked a corporate job before and everything was going well until one of your bosses was replaced with some idiot, this might seem very familiar to you. It happens too often, unfortunately. Maybe a new boss comes in, they have ego issues, they're insecure, they have imposter syndrome, they want people to think that they're smart, so they make these crazy major changes that no one ends up liking, and they end up...
Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's the same thing. Like this is literally the same stuff that happens all the time. This is why Xbox, this is why Sony, I believe they doing it too with some of their games. The game development is doing it. This is why every gaming industry right now is just laying off thousands of people. It's because they overhire. They realize we can't afford this, and they just they fire them. I like no offense, but don't overhire and you won't have to fire people. Like they overhired because of COVID. They overhired because of that, and it was like, oh yeah, oh my bad. We didn't know. We thought this was gonna keep booming. My bad, gang. Well, we don't need 2,000 people working on one game. Y'all gotta go. Like we only need 100. Like it's crazy because like indie games it's a lot of indie games out there that only have like 2, 3, maybe 10 people max, right? And they doing way better than 800 or 1,000 person team. I wonder why. Like they're making more money margins as well. I wonder why.
End up screwing up the whole company. This is maybe what's happening at Infold.
And it's the same with movies as well. Like they do the same thing. By the way, we ain't gonna talk about that. But they just inflate budgets. But
interestingly enough, this hasn't stopped them from aggressively recruiting in their Shanghai office. And you gotta wonder why. Maybe it's for their money printer Love and Deep Space, or maybe because they laid off a lot of Infinity Nikki devs that were originally on the game and are replacing them with cheaper labor. Who knows? What I do know for certain though is
I think it's for their other game. I think if they gonna give up on it.
That this game was a breath of fresh air in the gacha community, and it made an important segment if players feel like they're finally validated with a game that meant something for them. Are they going to be able to get a game like that again? Well, I hope so, because they deserve it. But that's not to say that there aren't any Infinity Nikki players hoping that the game will redeem itself. Those still exist, and you know what? For their sake, I hope that that will be the case. But if you ask my opinion, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Anyway,
just hope they make it better.
The video until the end.
That's the end. That's Mugen. Like, go follow him, whatever. But to be honest, go follow him. That was a good video. I think my opinion at the end of the day, in my opinion, if I'm gonna be honest, I feel like they should just let it ride off the money of Love and Deep Space. Like it keep making this money, let it ride on money Love and Deep Space until it hit 100K a month. Once it hit 100K a month, just end the game. Well, I think that's what they should do.
And I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that is, which should be in a few days from now. I love you so much, and yeah, take care. Mwah.
Yeah, pause that. That was a good video though. I ain't gonna lie, that was a pretty good video. I liked it a lot. I'll be honest. But anyway, like that was like the thing is, it's like at the end of the day, you can't really do anything about it. Like at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it. But anyway, other than that, we're gonna watch another video, okay? Where is it? The entire which one should we watch? The entire most disrespectful moments of anime, the Mana Tenchu Shredder, how Toradora broke me. Let's see, can the Walker Dead? Can the Walker Dead universe be saved? I want to see this. Let's see. We're gonna start 3, 2, 1.
First spin-off titled Fear the Walking Dead. It was a time.
By the way, I want to give my thing. I used to watch Walking Dead a lot. I watched almost every season. I gave up during the last couple of seasons because it was going on too long. I tried to watch the other one, like one of the other things they popped out. I think Fear the Walking Dead. I watched like 2, 3 of that, and I just stopped. I couldn't do it anymore, man. I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't do it anymore.
Media franchise could seemingly do no wrong, and they look. Now, I want you all to cast your minds back to 2015, a time where The Walking Dead was 5 seasons in with a growing audience, and they had just successfully released the first 6 episodes of their very first spin-off, titled Fear the Walking Dead. It was a time the media franchise could seemingly do no wrong, and they looked poised to dominate our TV screens for decades to come. But fast forward just 10 years, and this once juggernaut has now just received its lowest viewership to date, as Dead City Season 2 pulled in just 278,000 viewers, a far cry from the 15 million viewers a week it pulled in its heyday. So how did we get to this point? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out today. I'm going to be delving into every decision AMC made and going through their biggest mistakes, trying to fix them, as we explore what actually went wrong.
I ain't gonna lie, one thing I think actually messed up The Walking Dead was when they got rid of Rick Grimes. Like, why would you get rid of the main character for like 3 or 4 seasons? Like he was the reason people came in the first place. Like, oh, come on, bro. Like, he's the main character. You always lead the main character in. Like, that's like Naruto getting rid of getting Naruto out of there for like 8 seasons. Like, why would you do something like that? It's just dumb. It's literally just dumb.
For the Walking Dead universe, and more importantly, how do we fix it? The early era of The Walking Dead is some of the most phenomenal television ever made. Airing on Halloween night in 2010, this rather unassuming TV show quickly started to gain some traction, and in many ways was the catalyst for zombie mania throughout the 2010s. The show followed a former police sheriff named Rick Grimes traversing the unforgiving landscape of the apocalypse, and although classed as a horror show, it did so much more than just provide some cheap jump scares. The show offered us a gritty and gut-wrenching insight into human survival, and at its core, The Walking Dead was never really about the zombies, it was about the people. The pilot episode titled Days Gone By pulled in a colossal 5.35 million live viewers, but as I mentioned earlier, this would only continue to rise throughout the years, eventually reaching 15 million viewers per episode in season 5 of the show. Now look, AMC had obviously smashed it out the park with The Walking Dead. However, beneath all the success, cracks were starting to form. Seasons 1 to 4 were pretty much perfect. Yes, albeit there are some minor nitpicks I could say, like how insufferable the writers made Andrea, and of course the episode TS19, where they probably revealed a little bit too much too soon about the virus, but these decisions were nowhere near enough to put viewers off watching the show, which is evident by the numbers. The first real crack was early on in Season 5. After the biggest storyline to date as our group took on the termites, we get the Grady Memorial story, which was centered around Beth Green and her conflict trying to escape the grasps of former police officer Dawn Lerner. The problem with this arc is it felt like a major detour from the main group's journey. Coming off the explosive escape from Terminus and the emotional loss of Bob and Tyrese, the hospital arc just slowed everything down. On top of this, we get the heartbreaking death of Beth just as she was coming into her own. We never see any of the characters from the hospital ever again, and the one character we did actually gain from this whole ordeal was Noah, a promising and likeable person. However, he too would wind up dead before even the conclusion of that season, ultimately making this whole storyline feel like a massive waste of time. And this was the first time AMC had really missed the mark in The Walking Dead. So, with the added addition of hindsight, how do we fix this issue? Well, put very bluntly, the Grady Memorial storyline flat out doesn't need to happen. It doesn't really progress our group in any way, and yes, the mystery of who abducted Beth was cool for a short period of time, it very quickly fizzles out. Now, in my opinion, I think this time could have been delegated to another group. For example, the Wolves, a group who were interesting in their philosophy but never really got much time to shine in the
To be honest, they kind of forgot about them youngsters quick, bro. I wanted to see what's up with these.
actual show. This sadistic group had been built up for over half a season, whether it was spray paint on walls or walkers with W's carved into their foreheads. There was just a real sense of horror
They just said, let's whatever.
in the air around this group. However, once they fully appeared in Season 6, they were quickly dispatched during the attack on Alexandria, and the tension built up from Season 5 felt very underwhelming with how fast they were eliminated as a group. And add to this, they never really had a proper central figure to embody their ideology. Yes, I know on paper Owen was the leader, but he was never that compelling as a character. But if you take out the Grady Memorial storyline, that gives them another 5 episodes in the spotlight, and maybe they could encounter like a splinter group of the wolves in the woods, kind of like when Daryl and Abraham found the saviors in season 6, and they use this time to give the wolves a proper leader, and maybe recycle the character of Owen, the man we meet in the show who actually leads the group, as the leader of the splinter group that our survivors have to defeat at the start of season 5. Dedicating these episodes to fleshing out the wolves just that bit more is what AMC should have done, in my opinion. It keeps the story moving, it teases the next conflict, and if the writers were so adamant on killing off Beth and Tyrese, have them die to the wolves. I mean, in the actual show, the wolves kill no one of note, so this would actually add emotional weight to this storyline. But again, even though fans were more vocal around their dissatisfaction with the Grady Memorial storyline, it still didn't really put anybody off the show. In fact, fans regard Season 5 of The Walking Dead as one of the best seasons in television history, even with this rather boring arc in it, which really tells you just how good the rest of the season was. But this was just a minor bump in the road for AMC, as later that year The Walking Dead would expand into its very first spin-off. Now, naturally, following the
I think they also messed up with the spinoffs, because like to make a spinoff you need writers, and I feel like they moved some of the writers. Well, obviously they probably did move some of their writers over there. They probably hired other ones too. But I think like bro, just focus on the one you got right now, and then when the one that you got right now is starting to end, start a spinoff during like at least like a season or two before, so way people can get hyped for that, and then they start watching that, and then it's like, okay, do the same thing over and over again. If you want to make more spinoffs, like instead of just like, oh yeah, we're gonna split the teams, they're gonna work on this, they're gonna work on this, and then we're gonna have 2 gold mines. Like, bro, come on now.
Roaring success of the main show, AMC decided to capitalize by releasing its first spin-off titled Fear the Walking Dead. Set in the exact same cinematic universe, Fear was marketed as a show that would explore the fall of civilization and the start of the wildfire virus, something the main show had pretty much glossed over. And the first season of Fear averaged another colossal 11.2 million average viewers. AMC had seemingly hit a never-ending oasis of content. And although season 1 of Fear the Walking Dead was received with slightly lower reviews than the main show, myself and many other fans absolutely loved it. It was a fresh and new perspective on the apocalypse where we watched society fall apart through the eyes of the Clark family. Now, Fear the Walking Dead can be broken into 2 distinct eras. You have the Dave Erickson era, who would oversee the running of the show for the first 3 seasons, and then you have the Scott Gimple era, but we will get onto that later. Now, to lay this video out more simply, I'm going to just go over the first 3 seasons in this section, and we will come back to Fear the Walking Dead when it catches back up with the main show later on. The first 3 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead were just so special. Now, albeit I might be slightly biased, but this show felt completely different.
I mean, I might be too, but I loved the first 3. Like, it didn't feel like the actual Walking Dead. It felt a little bit. It felt like you said. Oh, like you about to say, it felt different. But I feel like the story they told was obviously it was way different than the one in the Walking Dead. It was like they didn't just recreate the same thing. That's why. And then it just felt like it's rare when you get to see things like this, right? Like when you get to see society collapse, and then you see how they got to where they at. Because obviously Rick, he just wakes up and it's already a thing. But when it comes to this, it's like, okay, they chilling, and then it starts happening, and then now they gotta go do all of this
from the main one in the best possible way, and it actually managed to stand out from its parent show. And a huge part of that is due to the characters. AMC once again hit the jackpot when casting for Fear the Walking Dead, as they managed to get Cliff Curtis, who would go on to star in the Avatar films.
Yo, what's up, Maddie?
Been in Harry Potter and broke out in
How you doing today?
Alicia Debenham Carey, who would go on to win Best Female Breakout Star.
Wait, she was in that? I didn't know she was in that. What the heck?
After her role in season 2 of this very show, and of course,
And I ain't gonna lie, I stopped at season 3. After season 3, I was like, all right, yeah, we done here with the Fear the Walking Dead. The other things they made, I just never watched the other ones too. I'm like, I ain't watching the other stuff, bro. How you doing today, Maddie? You doing good? You doing fine?
Coleman Domingo, who has been nominated in back-to-back years for the Best Actor at the Oscars, along with many more. They absolutely nailed this cast. And as for the viewership over the first 3 seasons, yes, it did see a slight decrease from season 1.
I'm doing great. What about you? I'm doing great. We watching this show right here. We watching this. What's up, Shelly? How you doing?
But it still averaged a very respectable 4 million viewers per episode. And
4 mil is still a lot. Like when did Fear the Walking Dead come out? Well, I see Fear the Walking Dead came out during the time when people were still watching TV. So 4 million is, I say that's still a lot.
the first 3 seasons aren't perfect. There's the shock.
It's like, it's good for a spinoff. You can't expect your spinoff to like reach heights of the actual like show itself. Like that's just never gonna happen. That's rare. That's like Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3 reaching Iron Man 1 stat. Come on, bro. That ain't happening. I'm an artist. I can create some custom. Will like your feedback? I already got an artist, so I can't. To be honest, I can't do it. I already got an artist. I'll be honest with you. What's up? Okay, I'm about to go and run some errands. I just want to pop in and say hi, Betsy. Oh, hi. What's up, Betsy? How you doing? Go do your errands, little one.
Shocking writing of Chris, and of course the death of Travis Manawa. But it really was superb. We explored Mexico, we saw death through different cultures, we saw how Nick, a recovering drug addict, was able to swap out his addiction to substances and replace it with adrenaline, as he quickly became one of the most intriguing characters in the Walking Dead universe. And of course we saw the dynamic of 3 families just trying to survive in a world of chaos. And by the time season 3 had come to an end, it had carved out a real fan base. Fear was by all means.
Hey, I'll be back here with a good stream. Hey, thanks, you too, thank you.
A massive success for AMC. Yes, it wasn't reaching the soaring heights of its parent show in terms of viewership, but then again, its viewership was more than double that of critically acclaimed spin-off Better Call Saul from the Breaking Bad universe, so it also wasn't doing badly. And the reviews, well, they were improving season by season. Fear the Walking Dead had successfully managed to expand the universe. Now surely there's no way AMC was going to mess it up from here, right? Now, late 2015 saw the release of Season 6 of The Walking Dead, and it was once again incredibly well received by fans. Well, apart from a singular episode. The season finale, titled Last Day on Earth, left us with a huge cliffhanger, but more on that
Yes.
in a bit.
That cliffhanger, I was so mad when that cliffhanger happened. I realized that the season was over. We had to wait. I was like, bro. Well, I was.
6 as a whole had been.
All I'm gonna say is, I almost cussed that day. I was like, bro, you really gonna make me wait, bro? You gonna make me wait? You gonna do a cliffhanger like this? Make me wait for this long? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Building up,
But it did build up the hype though.
to the introduction of the Saviors, and more importantly, Negan. Fans were eagerly awaiting for the adaptation
W. Negan.
of this storyline from the comics, and anticipation was at an all-time high. Now, like I said earlier, the cliffhanger at the end of the season, however, rubbed fans the wrong way. The episode ends with Negan choosing someone from Rick's group to kill, then brutally beating them to death with his bat Lucille. However, the camera cuts to first-person perspective just before revealing who the victim actually was, and this meant viewers only saw the kill from the victim's perspective, and it almost felt like a cheap narrative trick to force you to watch the next season, which of course you'd have to wait.
Oh, it definitely was.
Now, like I've said in recent videos, this episode has aged incredibly well with the rise of streaming sites, because of course you are just one click away from revealing who Negan actually killed. However, back then, fans were forced to wait 8 whole months. Now, The Walking Dead had a
I was so mad, bro. I was so mad.
reputation for bold and brutal storytelling, but by turning this death into a marketing gimmick, it felt like a ploy from AMC to prioritize ratings over the narrative integrity of the show. Now, this was the first true mistake AMC had ever made to damage its relationship with its audience long term. The Grady Memorial storyline, Glenn's fake out death, and many more did annoy fans, but this instance would have lasting consequences. And the worst part, AMC wouldn't even feel its effects until later down the line. So, months have passed, it's now 2016, and Season 7 is finally released. And boy does it open up with a bang. The episode The Day Will Come Where You Won't Be is genuinely a masterpiece in tension and horror, and it did stand as the highest rated episode in the whole show until it got review bombed a couple of months later. A whopping 21 million viewers from across the globe tuned in to this season opener, which of course saw the death of Glenn.
That's because everyone wanted to see it, bro. They like, who got marked, bro?
Now, initially, many fans were upset. In fact, some altogether stopped watching the show right then and there due to the brutality of particularly Glenn's death. But dare I say, I think AMC were right, at least with killing Glenn. In my opinion, it's actually killing Abraham that was their bigger mistake here. Now, of course, Glenn had a huge fan base. He was probably the most likable character on the show. And
yeah, plus he had a fake out death before, and people were up in arms. And then they were like, oh, he's still alive, guys, okay?
A beacon of hope in this rather depressing world. And after his death, the whole tone of the show shifted totally. However, not only does he die at the exact same point in the comics, but I also feel his story had come to a natural conclusion. We'd spent 7 years getting to know Glenn, but other than maybe raising his child, he'd gone full circle as a character, and he didn't have that much left to give. And the people who stopped watching the show because of Glenn's death, which I will get onto in a little bit, 9 out of 10 times say they stopped watching the show because Glenn's death was too graphic, rather than it was the wrong narrative decision. And his death was actually a catalyst for other characters to progress. Maggie dealt with grief and found strength in her loss to become a leader. Rick saw the cost of unchecked power and began to question his own leadership style. And of course, Daryl carried an immense amount of guilt. The mistake, in my humble opinion, in this episode was actually killing Abraham. Oh, and also having Daryl punch Negan, which caused the second death. Even though I said it further developed Daryl's character, it still should have never happened. Daryl, whilst impulsive, isn't stupid. However,
what's up, Ziggy? Finally, you made it to one. What's up, gang?
What I think AMC should have done is just killed Glenn in the lineup scene. Negan still comes out having killed a key member.
Hydrate? I got you. I will after the stream. I got you.
Of the group, demonstrating his power and giving us the
but no water though.
Introduction he deserves. But keeping Abraham alive.
Fell asleep around 9. Bro, you missed so much. We had a whole karaoke night, gang. A whole karaoke night.
I think is the correct play here. He'd just started a relationship with Sasha, we'd begun learning about his past, and him falling back in love with life again.
I'll be honest, I didn't really care about Abraham. I didn't care about Abraham at all. I'll be honest with you. I mean, well, I care about him to a point, but not that much. To be honest, this make me want to go back and watch all 7 seasons of Walking Dead too. One day I finish it all.
And was a story I don't think we saw enough of. But also having one death means Daryl doesn't get his guilt off.
Like the farm arc with Sean was peak Walking Dead, bro. Peak Walking Dead.
Which starts to feel overdrawn, especially towards the end of season 7. Now, obviously, you may argue, what about all the people that stopped watching the show due to Glenn's death? However, statistically, the show would only drop 3 million viewers worldwide from the season 7 opener, which albeit is a lot, but not only do you expect a drop off after a season opener, but this would also statistically mean it was still 1 million viewers more than average from the previous season. So yes, some people may have found Glenn's death too disturbing, but the show had actually grown in viewers from the last season. And to be honest, Glenn's one of my favourite characters in the whole Walking Dead universe. But
facts, and I kept watching afterwards, bro. Like it go Rick and then Glenn, and then maybe Carl. Carl was he? Like is Rick? No, Rick, Glenn. No, Rick, Daryl, Glenn, and then Carl. That's my top 4.
But I still think if you stopped watching the show because they killed him off, then The Walking
Dead
just flat out isn't the show for you.
Yeah.
It's not some fairy tale with a happy ending, it's a bleak realization of human nature. And the fall off in viewership that would start to occur in the latter half of season 7 came down to the poor writing decisions rather than Glenn's death. Season 7 started controversially, but arguably the writers then took it incredibly safe, as it turns into a psychological drag. The implementation of fragmented storytelling, although it had been around for the previous few seasons, it really slows the pace to an absolute halt, delaying much of the main plot for season 7.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, that's why I stopped watching. It was too slow. Like, bro, when I tell you some of them episodes was a drag to go through, I still remember some of them episodes was a drag. Like, I was like, bro, what's, oh, really? Still? Oh my God. I want to see, at this point, I just want to see some fights. But, like these youngins politicking for 18 episodes. It's all Dragon Ball all over again.
Almost seemed like they were trying to reach an episode count rather than tell a cohesive story at points. In fact, we are lucky that Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Andrew Lincoln absolutely kill their roles, especially in season 7, as if AMC casted wrong here, this season could have been
again, best characters Rick and Negan for me though, like all around. Rick and Negan best characters. I ain't gonna cap. Like
a complete disaster. The general fan didn't mind hardships. I mean, The Walking Dead had always been about survival, but they needed a sense of progression or hope, or even just a bit of forward momentum for our group. However, it just felt like a lot of wallowing from our main survivors. Now, before I move on to Season 8, I'd quickly like to give a shout out, just like I did for Fear, to AMC's casting. Andrew Lincoln, Scott Wilson, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Lauren Cohan, John Bernthal, Melissa McBride, Stephen Yoon, and so many more do such a
basically the whole cast
special job in giving The Walking Dead its identity. And I think the very foundations of this franchise was casting some of the very best in the business.
The big mistake. I will always hold by that the big mistake that they did was getting rid of Rick. Like, bro, it's literally The Walking Dead. It started off with him. It's surrounded by him. It's about his story throughout all of this. Why the heck would you take him out? Bro, we didn't know if he was dead or alive. We didn't get a guarantee if he was ever coming back. Like, bro, like now all of us watch the comic books, bro. Like how the hell we supposed to?
Look, for AMC's previous mistakes, they are either nitpicks or fairly easy corrections to make in terms of cutting or changing parts of seasons. But in Season 8, that would forever change. AMC would make arguably the biggest mistake in TV history. It would cost AMC over 30% of their viewers, meaning 1 in 3 people stopped watching the
I think I stopped at Season 9, I believe.
Show altogether. Now, after a lackluster stretch of episodes towards the end of Season 7, Season 8 opened to an audience of a very respectable 15 million viewers. However, the season would go on to average just 10 million viewers worldwide. But what was this mistake I'm referring to? Well, I'm sure most of you watching by now will know exactly what I'm talking about. And that is, of course, the death of Carl Grimes. Whilst intended as an emotional and narrative...
I forgot they murked that man. I forgot about that. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, that is messed up. I thought he was going to be honest. Like I thought he was going to be the new Rick. I thought like Rick, something was going to happen to Rick, and then he would have been the new one. I mean, I would have liked it better like that, but no, they just made Rick just disappear because there's just something happened. Oh my gosh, boom, 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 and you gonna take about 2 seasons to figure out what happened. I'm like, bro. Like now if he was saving Carl, protecting him, that would have been better, right? Like maybe like like a big herd came or Negan came again or something like that, right? And then guess what happened? Guess what? Like Carl's super in danger. Maybe he just couldn't handle it out there or something. And then next thing you know, the father saves his son and gives his life to protect his son's life. Oh my! And then the son becomes the new Rick. Like that would be heat. My opinion, that would be heat. In my opinion, that's how I would write it. But you know. I mean, I would obviously that's gonna probably skirt away from the. Thanks for the follow, Janice. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Just watch 8 ads. 8 ads? What the heck, bro? See, hey, if you don't want ads. Prime. But anyway.
Turning point for the story.
Nah, 8 ads is crazy though. I ain't know they give 8 ads. I thought they give at least like 2 or 3.
Carl's death ultimately proved to be a catastrophic misstep for AMC. It severed the show's long-term narrative spine, alienated fans, and distributed...
Oh, it definitely alienated. A lot of people loved Carl. whoever makes you money games. I mean, I guess.
Character arc
But I was saying you like you was asleep so early. You was asleep on one of the like it was karaoke night, man. Like so, bro. That joke was heat. I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised I still got a voice. I'll be honest.
that had been carefully developed over years. Killing Carl wasn't just a shock death. It was a decision that caused irreversible damage to the Walking Dead universe, as we will see a little bit later down the line. But in the short term, viewers started to dwindle, ratings started to drop, and AMC's money printing machine started to falter. The Walking Dead, to its very core,
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Carl arc was actually pretty heat. Like I think didn't he have an arc where he was following a girl or something like that, and come to find out she was evil or bad or something.
was about Rick and Carl, the relationship of father and son, tested
yes.
in a brutal world. Rick's entire journey.
That's why I say, like, if they wanted to get rid of like anybody and like I say like just let Rick give himself to save his son. I mean, not about the basic.
Fueled by one.
It's cliche, but I mean it'd be better than just like the way that Carl did go out.
Thing, protecting Carl and building a better world for him. Carl was Rick's reason to keep going in this world, the anchor that kept him tethered to his humanity. And with Carl gone, Rick's motivations unraveled. Now, no one really knows for sure why AMC, and more importantly Scott Gimple, chose to kill off Carl Grimes. Many
Probably with some issues behind the scenes.
it's because his actor, Chandler Riggs, was turning 18 and they didn't want to pay him an adult wage, and others argue it was
That would be crazy if that was the actual case.
just a complete blunder. But no matter what reason it comes down to, this moment would change the course of the Walking Dead universe forever. Now, we could talk about this mistake all day. I mean, words don't even do it justice, but I do have a whole video on this very subject on my channel, so I won't go into too much detail here. But the long and short of it is, Carl gives Rick a reason to keep going, and with him gone, the show lost its reason. Secondly, AMC knew
What you doing though, Ziggy? What you doing, gang?
Andrew Lincoln wanted to leave. Hell, fans even knew at this time period. Andrew wanted to come back to England to spend more time with his family.
Yeah, like that was like, yeah, that's true. Rick was missing his family, gang. He like I saw the interviews and all that. He was like, bro, like we filming all of this, but to be honest, I just want to spend time with my wife and kids, bro. I was like, understandable, because like he got to travel all the way to America, film this show for months on end, and then travel all the way back, probably get like a break or two, and then go all the way back to America for like 8 more months, film the show, then go all like, bro, like I would get tired as well. I'll be honest. That's why even I'm moving to America, or they just gonna have to hire somebody else. Working on my micro, hey, let's go, MC for the win.
So AMC knew they had a decision to make for season 9, but killing off Carl, someone who could have stepped up in Rick's absence, will
See, I'm not the only one that thinks it. Like all they had to do was like they could have just killed Rick off easily by having him protect his son. Like he was saying, like it started off with Rick, and then it actually, to be honest, it started off with Rick and Carl, and it should have led to Carl becoming the next Rick. Like it's already, like it's easy to understand that. Like, okay. He loved his son a lot. He lost his wife. His son is his last thing, right? Last thing in this world, son and daughter, because I think he had a daughter as well. But I think the daughter was, I can't remember if the daughter was during Carl. I think it was, but whatever. So like, have it where, but she'll take over like Rick, like parental guidance thing. But Carl gets out there, they get swamped, and the only way to save Carl is that Rick had to sacrifice himself. End of story right there for Rick. Story ended. He can go back to, like, in real life, he can act and go back to his house, his home, like whatever, yada yada, right?
always baffle me. In the comics, Carl eventually leads our group, coming full circle as a character, and with Andrew Lincoln being very vocal about
So it was in the comics? They could have done it. Oh my god, bro.
leaving the show, it felt like the very obvious play here was to let Carl lead. However, Scott Gimple,
More as what?
the
No.
very future of the franchise, the person that could have bridged that gap post Rick Grimes era. Now, how do we fix this mistake from AMC? Well, this is the
Poor Ziggy
easiest
getting pounded with
answer
ass over
to the
there.
entire video. I don't have to intricately rewrite storylines or add hypothetical scenarios. Simply, just don't kill Carl Grimes. That is it. The decline in viewers towards the end of Season 7 and Season 8 was just so avoidable. It was a time where maybe viewer fatigue was starting to set in, but to combat that, give us some stuff that made the early seasons so special, and I'm mainly referring to the character dynamics that made the show so famous. I mean, in the actual show, we should have at least seen a Daryl and Maggie conflict after the punch that got Glenn killed. Season 7 was a tonal mess, and Season 8 shares most of those flaws. Carl's sudden realization for a better world comes out of literally nowhere, his death is awful as I've explained, and the second half of the season is actually pretty solid, but it's playing catch up from such a subpar start to it. All they had to do was show us some more character dynamics, tone down the fragmented storytelling, and don't kill off Carl Grimes. It was that simple. And it's a massive shame because the Season 8 finale titled Wrath is so beautiful, but the events of Season 8 themselves massively overshadow it. So, the main show had started to fall into disarray with Carl Grimes' death, but at least AMC still had Fear the Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, when he got in, I ain't gonna lie. When season 3, I stopped watching, bro. I ain't gonna cap. For the Walking Dead was gone after season 3 for me. I'd be honest, but that season 3 was where it ended.
AMC had some thinking to do. Scott Gimple had already made a decision that cost them 30% of their viewers, so they of course fired him. Oh, hang on, it says here they didn't fire him, they in fact promoted him. Yes,
That's crazy.
Head screenwriter for the entire Walking Dead universe, and his first decision in charge, well, it was to fire Dave Erickson, the head of Fear the Walking Dead. Now,
why?
Dave Erickson had already written a 7-season-long plan for Fear that would slowly see Madison Clark morph into a villain, showing us how a normal person can get caught up and consumed by the apocalypse. And this,
I mean, yeah, that sounds cool. That's actually what happened, bro. Like, nobody knows what the hell they be when the apocalypse happens. Okay.
In the final showdown between Nick Clark and his own mother, which I'm sure many of us would
That
have
would've been heat.
seen. However, after Erickson's firing, these plans changed pretty
Bro.
drastically. As I stated,
Lucky I did
Fear
stop
had
then.
carved out an incredibly loyal fan base with around 4 million people tuning in
We'll go back, Zicky. I'm sorry the ads be spamming.
every week to watch the show.
What is that?
And the show's ratings had started to climb, but that would all change in 2018. After Scott Gimple took over, actors Frank Delane and Kim Dickens no longer wanted to stay in the show because
It
they
makes
weren't
sense.
fans of the direction Scott Gimple was taking it.
All
And
good.
although Kim
Thank
Dickens
you.
would return for season 8, they eventually decided to kill off Frank Delane's character of Nick Clark, which we will get into in a bit.
Also,
But essentially,
so they can kill off main characters. They just didn't want to do it with Rick, huh? That's crazy. That's insane.
Gimple
ain't it?
decided to move over Morgan Jones from the main show in an attempt to improve the already
So that's why he appeared over there. I never knew that. We love Rick. Yep, we do love Rick. But I'm gonna be honest, I think he should have died to save Carl. Like, if they was gonna get rid of Rick anyway, because like the actual actor wanted to go back to his family. Like instead of getting rid of him for some couple of seasons and bringing him back during the last season, just be like, oh my God, she's back. Viewers, please join. And I'm like, that's why I never finished Walking Dead either, by the way. But it's like just let him die for his son. It's already been about them anyway. Just let him die for his son. Like, just like in the comics, just let him go out, and then Carl becomes the new Rick. Like, it would have been so much better.
respectable viewing figures. And to be fair,
But you know what do I know? You know what does the person that actually made the Walking Dead comic book know about having a good, successful thing?
to Scott Gimple, it did work for 2 episodes. And then
2 episodes is crazy.
Absolutely plummeted to the lowest point it's ever been. And I mean, by the end of season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, they were bringing in less than 2 million viewers a week, which means over 50% of Fear the Walking Dead's fanbase had now gone. But why was this? Well, put very simply, it was Gimple's decision to move Morgan Jones over from the main show. However, as soon as he did this, Morgan didn't become part of the group, he became the whole show. It was all about him. And it transferred.
Even out of the actual show, like the ads, like the posters, the commercials, all he was front runner, bro. It was just him, his face front runner, done. And I was like, at that point, I mean, I don't understand. I ain't gonna lie, I don't get how some of these writers be so dumb, but like they got degrees. It make no sense to me.
Form the show into something completely different. We'd spent 3 seasons getting to
Oh,
know
she
the
done.
Stark family and their story, and it was nowhere near finished, as you can very clearly tell by the end of season 3. There are just so many loose ends. It's to the point where when you finish season 3 and click onto the first episode of season 4, you genuinely think you've clicked on the wrong show or missed an entire season out. But more importantly, Fear had now lost its originality. It had transformed into the main show with weaker characters and less compelling storylines. Nick, Madison and Daniel Salazar were gone, Alicia and Strand now take a back seat, and we watched the series become the Morgan Jones show. Now this was a massive blow for the loyal fanbase, one that was met with uproar. The decision made to try and boost ratings meant most of the loyal fanbase just flat out left because it was no longer the same show they fell in love with.
Yeah, bro, they'd be able to see through that, obviously.
And the new people who arrived to watch Morgan Jones very quickly realised it was just a worse version of the main show, and it had no unique selling points. Dave Erickson had anticipated these changes, and he did try to save characters, I guess inadvertently, by killing them off. I mean, take Troy Otto for example. He knew the complex nature of this character would never thrive in this new era of Fear the Walking Dead, so he attempted to kill him off, until Scott Gimple decided to miraculously resurrect him again to make a return for season 8. But we'll get on to the returns of Troy Otto and Madison Clark. Okay, let's now focus on what the death of Nick Clark actually did to Fear. Again, I have a whole video on why killing Nick Clark was the worst decision Fear the Walking Dead could have ever made on my channel, but essentially Nick was the heart and soul of Fear the Walking Dead. He was the fan favourite, and from the very first episode, Nick wasn't just a protagonist, he was the emotional core of Fear. As a recovering drug addict who saw the world collapse whilst already living on the fringes of society, Nick offered us a rare and layered perspective on the apocalypse, one we'd never seen before, and his journey from addict to...
That is true, because most apocalypse stories is like this bad super becomes a leader of a group, or this regular down to earth dude realizes how to survive. Like, it's just stuff like that.
Survivor was one of the most compelling in the entire Walking Dead universe. Now, this show had always been about family. Madison, Nick, and Alicia form the emotional centre of the series, and with Travis already dead, Nick now killed off, Madison leaving the show, and Alicia taking a back seat, the family story was in complete ruins. And after Nick's death, Fear lost its most unique character, and it never found a true replacement. Add to this, Alicia was never given the writing she deserved, and new characters like Morgan, June, and Al struggled to connect with fans, meant the viewership started to drop to some pretty bleak numbers. Season 4, after Nick's death in episode 3,
So you see, look, who got the bigger face? The big, like, that's the main front runner.
titled Good Out Here, started to fall, and the show would average just over 2 million viewers for the rest of season 4.
That's kind of
This
tough.
alarming downward trend would continue season after season. Season
5 to
would
2.
bring in 1.5 million viewers. Season 6, even though it was a massive step up in quality, saw only a 1.2 million viewer average, and season 7 was now firmly under a million, sitting at 800,000 viewers per episode. And last, and very much least, season 8 finished the show for good with an abysmal 400,000 viewers, meaning in the
400K is crazy. Well, yeah, YouTube probably have way less ads, by the way. So you'll be better on YouTube, I'll be honest.
span of just 5 years, Fear the Walking Dead had lost over 90% of its audience. The worst part
90
is,
is great.
in season 8, AMC attempted to bring back old characters in a desperate ploy to boost ratings, but the damage had already been done.
Like, that's the same thing they did with The Walking Dead. I made it here now. Let's go. W YouTube. I feel like they did the same thing with Rick. Like I think that like The Walking Dead was lower on ratings because to be real, you got rid of both of the good characters. Like a couple of main characters been gone. Like two got murked and then the other one just disappeared. And it's like they probably was like, oh, yeah, let's bring Rick back. That's a bring ratings, right? Okay, bring him back. So that English boy, they get his butt back into the States. It was crazy.
Madison and
It ain't work.
Joey were brought
It ain't
back to
work
try
at
and
all.
resurrect the series, but it made little difference to the numbers. AMC had run Fear the Walking Dead into
Welcome to YouTube.
the ground, and there was nothing that could save this show. And this all stemmed from Carl's death in the main show. This one decision killed its partner show and left fans angry from the main one. Look, the simple fix for this whole situation is to leave Fear the Walking Dead alone. Don't kill Nick Clark, keep Dave Erickson on, play out its original plan, and yeah, if you want to bring over some characters from the main show, that's fine, but just don't have them hog the limelight and take over the narrative from the already established characters. Fear the Walking Dead was looking like a great first step into creating a wider universe for this media franchise. However, the once promising concept was now in tatters. The year is now 2018, and The Walking Dead main show releases its 9th season. And after the previous 2 seasons have been picked apart
Yeah, that's about what I gave up. I gave up at 9 seasons, I'll be honest.
by critics and left fans angry with writing decisions, AMC had some serious making up to do. And they kicked things off, making a very good decision appointing Angela Kang as showrunner. Now, the elephant in the room was
Oh, I do remember her coming in.
always going to be Andrew Lincoln.
Maybe I did watch the 9th season. Like I remember her being showrunner. Like it was a big deal. It was a big deal or something like that back then.
Departure and how the show was going to deal with it.
Okay, this whatever season Rick left is like a season or two. Like a season after that, I stopped.
However, season 9 manages to give a fitting send-off to one of the most iconic characters ever written, and his last episode in season 9 is not only raved about by critics, but also one of the most beautiful episodes in the entire series. They handled Rick's absence just about as well as any show could do, losing its main character. And the introduction of the Whisperers was a much needed new storyline.
Facts.
Now, it wasn't all perfect. Some of the newer characters
Okay, I remember the
Whisperers
Whisperers.
did feel a bit shoehorned in, but in general, the season was a massive step up from the previous 2. In terms of viewership, numbers stayed consistent with around 7 million tuning in each episode. However, that doesn't tell the full story. There was a huge increase in critic scores for season 9 and a generally good reception from fans. The Whisperers brought back some of that early horror feel that the show had been lacking as of late, and some truly shocking and amazing moments happened. Season 9 was a creative revival that breathed new life into a show that many had started to give up on, and Season 9 did manage to reinvigorate the franchise and win back a significant portion of its own fan base. But the question now is, would AMC be able to keep this momentum rolling? Around the time of season 10 of the main show, AMC decided to give this whole spin-off malarkey another shot, and they announced they would be releasing another show titled World
Okay, so maybe I stopped at season 10. I'll be honest, by the way. I remember seeing the ads for this. I did not watch it.
Beyond that would premiere on October 4th, 2020. Now, many people were initially excited. This show would be targeted at a younger audience and aim to answer more questions surrounding the virus itself.
This would have been targeted towards my audience. I ain't even watch it.
What could possibly go wrong? Well, it actually turns out quite a lot. The show had ambition, I'll give it that, but that was about all it had going for it. Critics absolutely picked this show to pieces, and the fan reception wasn't much better. Although nearly 3 million people would tune in to the World Beyond season premiere,
I didn't.
finale just 10 episodes later, that number would already be down to 600,000. And the second season performed even worse than the first, grabbing an average viewing of less than 500,000 an episode.
You know what that means? That's canceled right there.
So, this ultimately was another swing and a miss from AMC, but what was actually wrong with this spin-off show? Because it was, by all means, the right time to release another spin-off. Fresh from the upsurge in reception from Season 9, I agree AMC were right to do this, but it was the decision to write this like a teen drama that will always baffle me. The pacing was incredibly slow, and the characters weren't interesting enough to have whole episodes dedicated to just them talking. But the biggest problem with World Beyond was its connection to the CRM, the mysterious organisation hinted at in The Walking Dead and Fear. This organisation was central to Rick Grimes' disappearance, and whilst this show did have its moments like Dr. Bennett's research, many hoped the show would lay major groundworks for Rick's return, but it only offered minimal payoff and asked more questions than it gave answers. Overall, this show was yet another missed opportunity for AMC, and had the series been good, by all means it could have reignited the Walking Dead universe. I mean, the hype was obviously there due to the sheer amount of people that tuned in for the season opener, but ultimately World Beyond was a well-intentioned experiment that didn't quite pan out. But how would AMC actually fix this? Well, for starters, the first half of season 1 is far too slow and lacked any real urgency. I would open with a major stakes moment, like the CRM raiding their community, forcing the kids to flee. I mean, the CRM was the main draw of this show, so make them the main focus a lot sooner. Integrating the CRM directly into the narrative from the start would make this show so much more entertaining, and also improve the writing of the characters themselves, and stop trying to make a teen drama. Had they done this, World Beyond could have been a very solid spin-off. However, let's get back onto the main show. Season 10 of The Walking Dead was released in late 2019.
A little bit of this, so maybe this is where I kind of stopped off at.
But once again, due to drawn out storylines and a massive 22 episode count that was stuffed with filler episodes, numbers once again started to dwindle, and season 10 averaged 5 million viewers worldwide per episode, which was once again less than the previous season. Now, this had become a trend for the last few years, and the momentum AMC had seemingly started building up came screeching to a halt. Now, the problem with season 10 is the Whisperer storyline, much like the Saviour one, is drawn out for far too long, and people just flat out got bored. Mix this in with production problems due to a certain global pandemic I can't mention in this video, and you get what is arguably the most mixed bag in the entire series. Some episodes, like Here's Negan, A Certain Doom and Walk With Us, received glowing reviews from both critics and audience members, whilst others, such as Splinter and Diverged, received the 2 lowest critics and audience scores in the history of the Walking Dead main show. And it still felt like Carl's death all those years ago still very much haunted this show. And the last season of the main show was announced for 2021. Now, personally, I won't lie to you all, I'm not the biggest fan of season 11. I still enjoyed it, but to me it doesn't really feel
I didn't watch it, so I can't say anything about it.
Although numbers did drop to around 2.5 million viewers, critics and audience members in general seem to be happy. But let's just take a moment to look back at the figures in 2015. The Walking Dead was pulling in 15 million viewers an episode. However, fast forward just 6 measly years, and only 15% of that audience now remained. So why did the show lose this many viewers? I guess besides the copious amounts of mistakes AMC made, it was just flat out viewer fatigue. Season 11
Yeah, it went on way too long.
been the best season of television ever created, and I would still guarantee it wouldn't pull in numbers anywhere near to 15 million. By 2021, we had over 19 seasons of The Walking Dead content, and it had been well over a decade since Days Gone By had released. Fans had just had enough. Mix in with the fact cable TV was starting to die as viewership amongst every show as a whole had started to fall, as people were now choosing to stream and binge shows on apps such as Netflix and Disney+, and you get the perfect storm for a fall off in viewership. In truth, there isn't much AMC could have done, as the damage was so severe from earlier seasons. As for my personal opinion, I would have shortened both seasons 10 and 11 to 16 episodes, removed the filler episodes, and I would have had a well-established, imposing villain for the final season rather than the Commonwealth, who I didn't find that interesting. But to conclude, the fall-off in viewership across the main show and spin-offs was a mix of things, mistakes and scenarios AMC could never control. I mean, take the global pandemic or the death of cable TV, or even actors wanting to leave the show. I mean, in Fear the Walking Dead, you had Cliff Curtis, Frank Delane and Kim Dickens, all central figures, request to leave, and then in the main show you had Andrew Lincoln, Denai Guerrera and many more. The fact this show was even able to, and is still going to this day, is a testament to the fan base it's managed to create for itself. And this cinematic universe may be on its way out, as I'll explore the spin-off since the show's conclusion after this very section, but there was a time period where The Walking Dead was the biggest show ever, and it then released the biggest
Oh,
spin-off
I
show
still remember
in
when I first started watching it. It was that show was so good, bro. That show was so good. Like first couple episodes was just peak. Like, oh my god, that's peak. That was peak CV. If you wasn't there, that's tough.
TV history, and Fear the Walking Dead held that title for 7 long years until House of the Dragon released in 2022. So there really was a time where this franchise looked poised to dominate for decades to come. So what does the future hold for this sleeping giant, and will this show ever return to its former glory? After the main show's conclusion in 2022, we get Dead City, Tales of the Walking Dead, The Daryl Dixon Show, and The Ones Who Live. Now, albeit every single one of these is a huge step up in quality from the later seasons of Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond. However, they are by no means must-watch TV, except maybe The Ones Who Live. However, an extremely rushed final act sees the show plummet in ratings towards the end. Quite frankly, the glaring problem with all of these spin-offs, except Tales of the Walking Dead, which we'll get onto in a minute, is that they all involve legacy characters like Daryl, Negan, Rick and Maggie, who yes are fan favourites, but they are now essentially unkillable, and viewers know this. And it's this very concept that undermines the whole concept that made The Walking Dead so appealing in the first place. It's no longer a world where no one is truly safe. With predetermined endings and invincible leads, the stakes feel manufactured and low with a lot of these spin-offs. Now, I'd quickly like to talk about Tales of the Walking Dead because I think the show as a concept is fascinating, and I would love to see AMC bring it back for a second season, just with some characters to tie into the main show. Now, of course, I'm not asking for a Rick Grimes prequel episode because Andrew Lincoln would probably never agree to that, but maybe show Dave and Tony's journey that led them into the bar that day in Season 2, and end the episode just before they encounter Rick, Herschel and Glenn. Or give us an episode visiting the fall of the Atlanta prison and how Axel and the others ended up in the canteen that day. Just little nostalgic episodes like this, I think could pull in a large number of viewers. Now, if you want some more of these ideas, both my friends Jerry and Ticewell have made videos on them that I also feature in, talking about possible ideas for a Season 2 of Tales, so I highly recommend you check them out. But I definitely think there is so much that could be explored in a Season 2 of Tales. As for the other spin-offs, just a quick note, I haven't seen Dead City, so I won't be going into that here, but there are some glaring problems. The Ones Who Live, whilst having an all-star cast, amazing visuals, and a brilliant story concept, just can't be told in that 6 short episodes, causing it to feel like a rush narrative and incredibly far-fetched, like Rick and Michonne literally defeat an army of thousands of CRM soldiers in the space of like 10 minutes, and it's a storyline that needed at least another season dedicated to it. And the show gives us a lackluster end to the CRM, an organisation that have been teased for years. And Daryl Dixon as a show is fine. I mean, it's got Daryl and Carol in it, which alone make it watchable, but the plot is so far-fetched again, it makes it hard to take it that seriously. Along with this, the timelines have started to become extremely confusing and fans are just losing interest. So with that being said, let's get into my ideas for how to get the Walking Dead universe back on track.
Let's hear it. How to save the Walking Dead universe.
Now, I think the biggest thing that holds The Walking Dead back in current day is its reputation of a decline in quality the further into the series you go, along with, obviously, viewer fatigue. So, to combat this, I'd wrap up the story of all our beloved characters. No matter how hard it may be to say goodbye to them all, next year will be 16 years since we first got introduced to our survivors, and I do think the time has come for a goodbye. Now, when would I have this happen? Well, preferably as soon as possible. However, I know the Daryl Dixon show has been renewed for seasons 3 and 4, and there's rumours of a Dead City 3. But for argument's sake, let's say Daryl and Carol make it home at the end of season 4 and they see Rick, Michonne, Maggie, Negan, Judith, Gabriel, everyone. The whole gang is there, reunited. And we get one final heartfelt episode where some of the best characters in fiction all say goodbye for the last time. Now, I'm sure AMC could get all the actors to agree on a one-off finale episode to wrap up The Walking Dead. and I actually
Yeah, I mean, just pay him enough. They'll come.
this would be good for the show's legacy, as bowing out on a high note with a concrete ending just feels like the right way to end one of the most iconic series ever created. And I think in years to come, if the show does wrap up, fans will look upon it more fondly than maybe most people do now. But now, you may be wondering, where does the show go from here if I'm ending it, essentially? Well, firstly, I think a good start would be a Tales Season 2, that would be packed with nostalgic episodes for the OG fans to indulge in. I mean, take us back to some of the most iconic locations in the show, or flesh out some of the characters we never really learnt about. If I was AMC, I would then immediately get an animated series made, much like Invincible, where we would see the Walking Dead comics brought to life. I think the fact the show and the comics are fairly different in storylines mean people would still definitely tune into them, and as we all know, with the rise of animation, it would be a great time to capitalize on this. And
I'm surprised they never tried to capitalize on that in general. I never realized that they just went strictly like live action. I'm surprised they never tried to do at least a show, a TV show, a cartoon, at least or something.
I would start again in a different location with new characters and a different cast.
Seattle.
Like the main show and Fear did all those years ago. Give us that raw, brutal survival from the very start that we all fell in love with. New dynamics, a new setting with a whole new creative team behind it is what, in my opinion, the franchise is calling out for. I mean, it's obvious, people still want to see zombies on their screens. I mean, take the success of The Last of Us as proof. A well-written new story, maybe set in Asia, would be awesome. Like, let me give you a rough example that I thought of in literally less than 5 minutes. We see a
Hello? Hello? All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. I believe. I believe we're back. Oh my God! Meow, meow, meow. The stuff just went down for a second there, but it says that it's good now. It says it's good now. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of want to watch Walking Dead after this, to be honest.
A group of American students go on a university trip to Tokyo. Then we watch the biggest city on the planet descend into chaos as our characters try to survive the early days of the outbreak, have them deal with internal struggles, language barriers, and of course zombies. In my opinion, that has the potential to reignite the Walking Dead universe, and if this show was successful, you could branch out from it, much like Fear did to caveat the main show. Look, whether you like my idea or not, I think starting again from the very beginning with a whole new group and a new setting is really the only way
we're gonna get this man on like now.
Of building a cohesive universe.
I hate that my mouse double clicks.
Look, the demand for zombies is still there. In fact, I don't think it will ever die. The thing is with The Walking Dead, it's just viewer fatigue. With the current characters involved with it, we have known them for decades. And I think it might be time.
I grew up with these youngins, bro.
Again. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments.
I was in like middle school,
with how I would save
late middle school, early high school when The Walking Dead came out, I think.
Thank you all so much for watching. I know today's been a bit of a longer video, so thank you all for watching. But I've put a lot of work into this one, so I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Now,
yeah, I enjoyed it, bro.
On 15,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for the support recently. And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
I ain't gonna lie, W video, bro. W video. Now we're gonna watch this 1 hour video of the nut. No, I was playing, but to be honest, W video 10 out of 10. Like I agree with what he said. Like, and 90% of this, bro, I still believe at the end of the day that they should have gave freaking Rick. They should have let Rick get murked to save so Carl could be alive. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's whatever, right? No. How long have we been streaming for? 2 hours and 9 minutes. I ain't gonna lie. It hit that 2 hour mark. So we gotta dip up out of here. We got a lot of more videos to react to. Some videos I made to react and then like post it. So like Stay tuned to the channel on YouTube at GBS Plays or GBS Plays Reacts, whichever one. One of them gonna get a video definitely today though. But well, at some point. Anyway, other than that, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. In the first place, I love all y'all. Yeah, I love everybody that came in. I love everybody that followed. I love everybody that told me to hydrate, because like it ain't gonna be water. But like I love all y'all. Okay, I love everybody that just came in and plopped in for a little bit. You know, at the end of the day, join call. I will. You're not even in call. What do you mean you doing? Oh, you are in call. Never mind. All right. I got you. But anyway, I love y'all. See y'all later. Trying to think here. I don't know what song. Know what? I know this was song to play. I got y'all. I got y'all. We're gonna play a banger. Bro. Like everybody know this. Let's go. Right here. Alright. I'll see y'all later. And I don't know, become a freaking space cadet, I guess.